Never curse your enemy, but give thanks for wisdom. Give thanks for overcoming the experience. My people, now that you are gifted with the elusive power by way of words, listen. Let's indulge you into something that is not malicious, but it can have a darker side to it. It is a part of everyday reality that only a select few will ever experience. Some people will relate to this, but to others it will be something that they might never conceive. It will be more like a fairy tale story of a Disney movie or something. Things that happen around the humans every day. Things they cannot see because they are not raised to that level. My beloved, many of you are already given the power to know the unknown and to see the unseen, but it is a responsibility bestowed upon only the kind-hearted spirits. Do not let anger pull you back down. Do not make their evil blood that boils inside of you make you like them, while every day they threaten to sacrifice you and to drink yours, thinking that it will help them to become better. I want you to fully understand this, my kind hearted vessels of love. Oftentimes I tell you that everything is about definition. How we define words sometimes become greater than these words themselves. One of my most unforgettable experiences as a child was when my mother called me an old witch. She said it in a way to tell me that this I was, but by telling me that this I was, she meant to tell me that it was something awful. That was the definition. So, even the great good that I knew about me would not suffice. Basically, that it was the idea that was driven into me. It is in that similar way they will tell you that no matter how good you are, if you do not do their 3 second baptism of ignorance, you will, with all your good values, not go to heaven. This is very evil. They don't even know what baptism is yet at this time in the ages. How can a 7 year process be done in 3 seconds by dipping in water? Besides, why would one go to a place where it only takes lack of understanding to attend, like their heaven? What would happen there? Every day they say they baptize, but not one of them has ever experienced a baptism. Neither do they know how this 7 year purification of body, mind, and spirit that elevates one up to the divine is done. Whenever you feel anger, it is their blood that boils inside of you. So remember and protect against all evils that want to come from within you. You have been purged for so many cycles that now you should be over it. How did my mother calling me a witch affect me? It was a bad experience for a child. However, decades later, I realized the good thing she revealed to me about me. Even though she meant to say something bad about my way of knowing and ordering reality, my anomalies for what they are. No, I rather embrace those words than to embrace the thought of what these humans themselves are and what they embrace. The humans can only speak according to their lack of light, so do not address their folly as hate. See it as ignorance and their insults as buffoonery. It is no reason to apply a word of anger that will affect their lives negatively. Do not curse anyone, not even your enemy. The blood-sucking Emmanuela monsters are the human progenitors. And when they came upon the mountains of the earth, they came intending to create the abominations with the daughters of mankind. Now these humans will not stop begging for sacrifice, and they will not see the ugly nature of bloodshed. The gift of words is a wonderful gift that will turn into a curse if given to a person filled with ego and uncontrollable anger. Do not turn your blessing into a curse. Do not turn that wonderful gift into a curse. God does not give the chosen ones power so that they can abuse it. You are here to elevate and not to put down. A part of being here is that you already know the evil ways of these humans and that their way is always to sacrifice you and to repay your goodness with hate. They do it to all empaths that come here and they gloat over it. Every day go to a church and they are gloating over what they did to Jesus and they are calling for his blood. They say they want to wash in it. They gloat over it and they do it, and this is their way. They create symbolisms that they perpetuate again and again and again and bring it to their children. They make it into rituals. They will wish for you to fall down and die, but they will not want to fall down and die themselves. It is their nature, and it is why you came knowing they were evil in the first place. They are diseased. They are in their purgatory, and they scratch and fight to obtain their heaven here and now, because much further many will never go. They pick certain small virtues to the degree that they can conceive them, and they believe that this little is enough for God to raise them by. They will come very hard at you. You might have to protect yourself, but do not curse them when your hands are not being forced. I remember this great person whom I used to admire for his wisdom. He had the gift of power over the world. He was a man who was being attacked by so many different ones for no reason at all, but because of the exact same thing. These humans will repay hate for your love. Whatever you give them, you never give them anything, and they hate you because you never give them anything. This is their way, and this is what they will do and what they will say. So this man was always being attacked by them, and they would not relent. One day, in defense of himself, he told the enemy who tried to kill him that, I curse you, you will not live to see Thursday. For Thursday was the day of a certain threat to be carried out. So, on Wednesday, the word prevailed and the enemy died. Even though it was in self-defense, and even for that reason, all the other attackers walked away from the situation in fear. However, this great and kind-hearted man was hurt so much by the death of that person that he spent the day thinking about it. Yet, he took comfort in the fact that he acted both to defend himself and many other people involved. That phase passed, but soon more enemies were raised to test him, and there were individuals telling so many lies on his name and sabotaging his livelihood that he was past hungry. He was talking to one of these wicked people who was verbally attacking him. When his anger was so much that words would spring from his lips, he resorted to saying, I don't want to curse anyone. I don't want to curse anyone. Finally, he found words to repeat without saying a curse. In a matter of weeks, things turned, and that very man whom he did his best not to curse came onto his side and became one of his best friends and supporters, bringing more light into the earth. Never curse the enemy. Protect or defend yourself if you have to, but do not curse your enemy for anger or for revenge. Do not curse your enemy to see karma work, because the karma will be your own. Never be a stumbling block just to act as God and bring retribution to others, for your payday will be a dark one. God will put stumbling blocks in your way. You can repeat or acknowledge words you hear from the ancestors, but do not lay upon anyone that curse. If the ancestor tells you that someone broke his leg, For instance, it is to make you know that the one that broke his leg was involved in attacking you. For the humans will hide and attack you by words and by evil plots and sabotage against you or to defile your name. Within 48 hours, when you see him, do not gloat. For within that 48 hours, you will see him with his broken leg. Just be wise that one of the secret enemies was uncovered. It is not for you to be gleeful at someone else's pain. You see, most people in the natural world will not ever relate to the spiritual realities, my beloved. They will never even dream about experiences that are our natal everyday life. Some fall ill as a mark by the ancestors in order to establish that it was one of the enemies. Then the ancestors will tell you what, in their anger, they did to the individual, but only so that you will identify them by this. It can be just about anything that will be visible to you, and in many cases, especially if their own ancestors are ashamed of them, this person will come and tell you about their problems themselves, so that you will hear from the horse's mouth that the ancestors did not lie to you. The ancestors will say in a dream, for example, he was so awful we had to dislocate his elbow joint. Then in 48 hours, this one will come to you and say, I had to go to the doctor to fix my elbow because I had a terrible accident. Most people cannot relate to this side of reality. People who are empaths and what you call psychics experience these things so much, so often. Do not curse your enemies and do not wish for them a curse. Do not celebrate and seeing their downfall. Celebrate being free from their torment. Celebrate the gift of the power over words. But be careful what you say. As long as you are that diligent protege, zealous for knowledge, the time comes when certain gifts are bestowed upon you. Even the spirit realms and their spirit guides at times deliver great gifts of power that will tempt the heart of the corruptible. Before you seek that power, seek impermeability, because the day when you gain the power over the world, you will also receive the greatest temptation that ever was given to man. Before you receive that power, you will be tested by your enemies, and those that hate you will mock at you. Those that hate you will mock at you. They will deliver you to be crucified. They will show the evilest of themselves and invoke the darkest demons, and no one will help you, not even your ancestors. But instead, at that very point, they will deliver to you the gift from the divine. They will give you the power that might deceive and destroy you if you are permeable, just to allow you the freedom to prove yourself as worthy or not. To build a wall is self-defense, but to act upon the anger in order to gain the vengeance is arrogant, egotistic evil. The first test will either destroy or verify you. Never curse your enemy. You need not curse him, for God has sovereign might above all. The highest gift from God comes by your enemy. Give thanks that he opened for you that seal. But always be wary of your power. Do not say the wrong words, for it is not something to take back when it begins to manifest. And your heart will be broken to see your own handiwork created by a loose and spiteful tongue. Defend against those that attack you by way of reasonable resistance. Don't let your self-defense be less than reasonable, but do not take more than what is given to you, because judgment is not something to be delivered at some time to your convenience. All things are always where it was supposed to be at the moment. So justice is ever intrinsic. It is something that might be there that you will not see unless the way of perpetual motion was for you to witness it. Denounce evil spirits in the enemy when and where you see fit, so they won't bring them near you, and rebuke them when you are moved to rebuke them. But do not curse them. Never curse your enemy. He has already prospered you. As long as he knows the things that he did, it is your justice. Just him knowing what he did is justice to you. No justice at that point is ever greater than the fact that the wicked knows what he did. Even as unrepentant as he or she will be, life is longer than these few days on earth. If you feel that the universe is unfair, remember your own far from perfect ways and strive to be better. The battle is not for you to make judgment and deliver retribution. The battle is for you to make it to becoming perfect in your ways. If the evil man was there as witness to himself doing the deed, then you already have justice. And if he is that unrepentant soul, then you have more justice. The longer it takes for him to surrender to his own conscience, the more justice is given to you. The greatest gifts you receive because of the oppression by your enemies are mostly spiritual. They come from God. The moment that you feel the power of word bestowed upon you, and if you will use it to curse your enemy, you will witness his suffering, and that suffering will be just as you called it. However, you would be guilty of calling judgment upon one whom God already judged. Therefore, your own recompense will be magnified. You will pay the consequences. Do not ever curse your enemy. A curse from the lips of the oppressed can destroy the oppressor very quickly. Yet a judgment upon one who was already judged has grave consequences. Do not curse your enemy. Even if you smile at the irony, never be gleeful about his downfall. You are always in ignorance about every element concerned in that instance of cause and effect. Only God can see the full value of the equation, so do not put yourself in the position of involvement. Humankind has ego, like a boy being bullied every day, but he ignores and divides the bully. But one day he is walking with a weapon when the bully comes, and he thinks, this bully has a piece of stick, but I have a gun. Let me go and bully him. He has taken up the role of a bully, targeting someone in their time of innocence. If you are caught up in words like revenge, karma, retribution, competition, or one-upmanship, it is because you need to work harder and trying to be better. And if you curse your enemy, that would be one of the worst things that you could do. Hold on to your rights. I know you all love to hold this beautiful treasure that is given to a few, but remember how awful it can be when misused. And one of the greatest admonishment I will give, the words of your enemies shall never come near or around you. Do not let them back into your space. Do not even allow them to come an inch near you. Keep them away because the energy should not entangle. Let us keep on with the uplifting by way of words. We were surprised to find that the thing that was given to do good can be used to do bad too. However, we also celebrate the fact that we can labor to become impermeable, and the threat of that one single misuse of power should only be encouraging us to go to higher levels, higher degrees of impermeability. Peace out.